Okay, I'm gonna just show you a video for these questions just because I was starting to write them down. I'm not very good at reading instructions and understanding. I have to like watch somebody do it. So I'm gonna go through them. I have them on this phone. Okay, so the first one here was to determine if it's a function, and something can only be a function if you can draw a vertical line through its graph, and if it crosses more than one time, then it's no, it is not a function. If it only crosses once, then yeah, it can be a function. So I'm just going to do some examples here. So I have a graph here. I can draw a vertical line anywhere I want. Now you'll want to draw it where you think it will cross more than one time. So really here, I don't see anywhere if I draw a vertical line where it's going to cross more than once. If I kept drawing more vertical lines, it's never going to cross more than once. So that's a no. This one actually might be one of your problems. I can't remember. So now for this one, I'm going to draw a vertical line where I think it will cross more than once. So it looks like it'll cross more than once right there. Oh, crap. Sorry. Whoops. Back here, it did not cross more than once, so yes. This one, it crossed 1, 2 times, so no, that is not a function. Now the reason why is because if you were to plug in, so let's say we have a function, f of x equals x plus 1. Okay, so if I wanted to figure out, well, what is a point when x is 2? So just so you know, f of x really is the same thing as y. They just like to start this new notation so that we're understanding that we're plugging in x for it, but really f of x is just the same thing as y. So when I start introducing this to my students, I actually have them cross out f of x and write y, because they're used to finding points at that point. So let's figure out where the point is when x is 2. So when x is 2 plus 1, so 2 plus 1, let's figure out what y is. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So then, when I plug in 2, I get 3. So I get a 0.23. Now, if I were to still use this function, and this time plug in 4, so 4 plus 1, that would be 5. So nowhere will I ever plug something in and get 3. I will only get 3 when I plug in 2 for there. So no matter what I plug in for x, I will only get 3 if I plug in 2. Well, here it's saying that I will get, if I plug in 1, then I'm going to get, so if I plug in 1 here, I'm going to get positive 1 and negative 1. So it's the point 1, 1 and 1, negative 1. Which means, hey, if I plugged in 1 in for my function and I got 1, and then all of a sudden I plug in 1 and I get negative 1, that doesn't make sense. If I plug in the same number, I should get the same answer both times. So that's why if you draw a vertical line and it crosses more than once, then it's a no. That cannot be it. And so that kind of explains the why. I'm just going to do a key for you so that you can kind of see what you should have gotten. So for 23, you should get no. 24, no. 25, yes. 26, no. 27, no. 28, yes. Okay. For the next one, where did my, oh, here it is. Okay, the next one they want you to know where, if they give you a function, so you get y equals 3x plus 1, and this D right here represents domain. And domain is just a fancy word for all of the x values. So each of these are an x value for this, what it's called a relation. Relation just means random points. So basically they're asking you to find What's the point if the x value is negative 4? What's the point if the x value is negative 1/3? And so on. So that means that I'm going to find the point first if the x is negative 4. So I just plugged in negative 4 where x is. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Plus 1 is negative 11. So the y value is negative 11 when the x value is negative 4. So negative 4 comma negative 11. And that's the point. And you're going to do the same thing with all of these. I'm going to do the next one because fractions can be kind of tricky. So 3 times negative 1/3 plus 1. So 1/3 of 3. So if I divide 3 divided by 3, or I could do 3 times 1 is 3, divided by 3 is 9. So, whoa, I did times, sorry. 3 times 1 is 3, divided by 3 is 1. So it's going to be negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So the y value is 0 when the x value is negative 1/3. And you're going to do the same thing for all of the numbers 29 through 32. On the next one, so same thing for relations. If you have random points, okay, so if you have random points, you still do a vertical line test where you think 2 points, if I drew a vertical line, will intersect that line. So right there, 2 of them just intersected, so no, this is not a function. So the points are just like a graph. So if you draw a vertical line and it crosses more than 1 point, no, it's not a function, because then you're getting 2 different answers for that x value. If we were able to draw a bunch of vertical lines and we never saw that it crossed more than 1 point, then it would be, it's a function. Okay, and then the last thing on this one, this one's easy. The instructions are just hard to understand. Okay, so they're asking you to write the domain and the range. And the domain is always the x values, and the range is always the y values. So here I could write x, y, x, y, x, y, x, y, x, y. Now how I always remembered this is dr are my initials. And D comes before R, so all the D's were my domain, and then what would come next? So Denise Rigby, so Denise was first, and then Rigby was second. I don't know if that will help you. I always told my students that too, because they always know my first name. I don't know how. Okay, so I'm just going to list all of the D's or the X's. So they usually write it in a little squiggly line and just write the numbers. Oh, and actually, you have to write the numbers from least to greatest. So I'm going to look at all of the first ones. Negative 3 is the smallest. And then 0. And then 1. And then 2. And then 4. And there's your domain. And then the range are just now the second values. So the y value. So the smallest would be negative 2, negative 1, 0, and then 5, and 6. And let me make sure that that's all they want you to do on that one. And then you're determining if they are functions or not. So, sorry, I kind of crossed these out. So you're going to look and see if you have the same x. So if you have the same x in different y's, then it would be a no. But in this case, we all have different x's on all of them. So yes, it's a function. So number 10 is yes. Oh, I explained that wrong. I'm sorry. Number 10 is no. If you look at number 10, if you were to plug in 2, you'd get -3. And if you were to plug in -1, you'd get -3. So no, that's not a function. So number 11, let's look at all the y values. All the y values are the same, but the x's are different. So no, that's not a function. Okay, number 12. Look at all the y values. Oh, I see a bunch of y values where it's 1 and different x values. So no, that's not a function. 13. Let's look at all the y values. I see 2 5s with 3 and then -3 as the x's. So no, that's not a function. Number 14. I see 4, 1 and 1, 1. So there's, if you plug in 4, you get 1, and if you plug in 1, you get 1. So no, that's not a function. Number 15, look at all the y values to see if they're different. 4, 2, 0, 6, -2. They're all different. So yeah, that's a function. Okay, 16, look at all the y values. 0, -5, 0. Oh, there's 2 different zeros, so let's see if the x's are different. Yep, we have 0, 0 and 2, 0, so no, that's not a function. So hopefully I explained that right. I kind of went through that fast. So we look at all the y's. So we have 0, 6, -2, 5, -1. All of the y's are different, so that is a function. So if they're all different, it's a function. Because if you were to plot all of them and you drew a vertical line, it would never cross more than once, more than 1 point. Okay, I'll do the next one.